This is Franklin Community Library. It's a really beautiful library, and it's right in the heart of the Franklin neighborhood. And we have a fantastic teen center here. That's where we started this movie. There are great people who come to this library, and we asked some of them to describe themselves to us with one word.
I'm amazing.
Peaceful.
Successful.
Awesome.
I am cool.
Oh, they did, yeah.
I come to the Franklin Library because I like to get on the computers.
I come to the Franklin Library to read. I play in the kids side.
I study, do my work, and meet new people and to see my friends.
This place that feels like home, the Franklin Library, we wanted to tell you its story too. This is a Carnegie Library. That's a big deal.
Andrew Carnegie was a rich man that decided that rich people should do good for the poor. And they liked libraries too.
So in 1912, 4 sites were chosen for 4 libraries to be built in Minneapolis.
Franklin.
Central Avenue Northeast.
Lyndale and 6th. 36th and 4th South.
Before that could happen, the city had to own the land.
Minneapolis sold $40,000 in bonds to be able to buy this land.
That's a whole lot of money in 1914.
This library opened August 1914. That was 86 years ago.
There were books in 20 different languages for all the different immigrants in the cities.
And a giant collection in Scandinavian language because that was the main immigrant group.
People that visit the library were from Sweden,
Norway,
Poland,
Denmark.
Romania,
And Italy.
everywhere.
The library was called a lively example of the American melting pot ideal. At the end of World War I in 1918, there was a lot of fear about immigrants.
People are already here in America were afraid newcomers would not fit in the American culture.
And so libraries were a way new people can be educated into being American and part of our democracy.
Immigrants now were mostly German, Polish, and from Eastern Europe.
They did not speak English, so the library made no class for immigrants.
The Franklin Library was the busiest library in the 1920s.
I think it's the busiest library today, too.
And Franklin Library still offers program for new Americans like in 1914.
Today, the people come to the library are from Ethiopia, Somalia, Oromo, and Kenya.
Southeast Asia, Mexico, and lots of other places. So who are the neighbors on the street now? It's cool to see how things have changed.
Now we're at the Dollar Tree. If you had $1, you can get anything you want.
My name is Alexis, and I'm by Franklin Street Bakery. I like Franklin Bakery Street donuts. I come there for their cupcakes and their bread and other stuff.
My name is Muhammad. Some people at the library call me Momo. Yeah, this is Aldi's, so I like to come here. A lot of family and friends come here too. This Aldi's is at Franklin and I believe 15th, Franklin and 15th. One notable choice is the Danishes. Those are like my favorite. Those are my favorite type of pastry. And every time I come to Aldi's, I have to buy me some Danish. So.
My name is Deck, and this place is the parking lot of the Maria Sandbeck Center, and kids play basketball here. It's a makeshift basketball court that receives a lot of attention from the neighborhood kids, and that's why it's my favorite spot on Franklin Avenue. simply because all these kids from the neighborhood choose to get together here, and everybody gets to play basketball. I like basketball, and like I came here the other day for the first time, and there was like kids as little as 3 and as old as like 15 all playing together. So I thought it was really nice, and so this is why it's my favorite spot.
Yeah.
My inspiration on this particular piece comes from my community, really. Growing up in the American Indian community, wanting to represent a modern Native aesthetic. My name is Bobby Wilson. I oftentimes go by Bobby Dews. I painted this mural with some students. This design was intended to be a mixture of Dakota aesthetic and Anishinaabe aesthetic, which are 2 predominant tribes from this region. Anishinaabe comes from these soft floral arrangements. These shapes are actually an Ojibwe floral pattern from old bandoliers. I wanted to apply a modern aesthetic because this isn't made with beads or quills. It's made with spray paint. Dakota and Lakota design is where all these sharp angles come from. They represent, existing floral arrangements that occur in nature, but they also represent stars and the directions that are all around us. A lot of times I've seen paintings of people that have already passed on that did good work in their community, and I thought that it would be a pleasant change of pace to paint people that were actually still alive, that have helped found a lot of the social service programs and networks that exist in Minneapolis today. I want their deeds to be recognized before they're dead, when somebody can actually pat them on the back or give them a hug and say, "You really kick ass," you know that? It's my nephew Luke, old friend Charlie Stately, my auntie Juanita, my niece Juanita, and Pat Ballinger, who's an elder in the community. I was born in a duplex on Chicago and Franklin. I'm told it doesn't exist anymore, and I don't remember being born. That's just what everybody told me, is that I was born over here. So, you know, it feels really nice actually to paint this wall in this area, considering that I was born only a few blocks away. It's like, you know, truly home when I walk down, well, walk around anywhere in Minneapolis, really. It's like, oh yeah, I belong here. But then, you know, I have a biased opinion too. I'm indigenous. This is where my blood's from. So I just feel that strong connection to this place. I feel like when I'm over here, like Superman needs his yellow sun to have his powers. That's kind of how I feel about South Minneapolis. Like I need South Minneapolis to have my powers. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, my name's JC, and when I was a kid, I grew up right down on 11th and 24th. And so she was talking about the history of Franklin Avenue, but this is back in the early 60s, like 61, 62. And there used to be parades come up and down this street right here. Used to be about 2 or 3 bars across the street. And I used to shine shoes, so I was like about 8 or 9 years old. And so the white kids used to charge 10 cents a shine. I used to charge 5 cents a shine and beat them out. And so, but I was telling her that the streets used to stop, not really stop, but no one hardly went past this area here because no one lived back that way, you know. And so that's just my little brief take on the history of Franklin Avenue. See you later.
Thanks.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Look into the camera.
I used to live in Kenya. I was born there. I used to live there. And then in 2006, I came here in America. Hello, people. Back in Kenya, we didn't really have a library. Like, we never used to do anything. And to me, right now, like, I used to be locked in a house. Never used to experience anything because it was like a lot of violence and dangerous out there. And like people that you don't know could just take you. But like coming to America is like a freedom. It's like safe. Like in a certain places it's safe and you know you can do whatever, like you have rights and stuff. But like back in Kenya, I never used to think that I have any right. Yeah.
1991, the civil war was started. Somalia, like before civil war was a heaven. We had jobs, we had houses, we had education, we had a happy life. We hear that the noise of the bullets and weapons, and so first we were surprised. What is going in here? Then many houses are burning, and then we ran away without nothing. You're thinking about how to save your life, nothing else. And it started at night time, and still it was going. The government, the soldiers are fighting, and the factions are fighting, but it takes several weeks to defeat the government. They come every direction. Soldiers with guns and killing whatever they can kill. Every street are people dying and houses are burning. Ninkii la doonan la dilayay kii gurigiisa lagu qarxinayay cid u naxaysay dadka ma jirin. Meydka hortaada ku yaalay ood ka tallaabsanaysay. Waxaa hortaada yaalay ilmo yar oo hooyadiis nuugaya oo weli habartina ay dhimatay oo kor saaran yahay. Guryo gubanaya ood ka baqaysay intaad sii socotay in dabku ku qabsado. Dhibaato aad u weyn oo aad weli maskaxdaada sidii filmkii oo kale ugu dhagaysa ayaad ku noolay. It is nightmare. It was a nightmare. My daughter and her children, we rented a car to come near the border of Kenya. We lived there for 5 months, and then we went to the refugee camp. Refugee camp was very, very tough life. It was very hard life, very crowded. It was thousands. I lived there for 5 years, and then I did not have enough medicine there, and I had liver abscess that if I couldn't come to United States, I would die there. To save my life, my children says, if you have any chance to go to United States, Mama, it's good to go. Then I get sponsor with other relatives to come to United States. So I came to United States. I miss Somalia. I miss my children. Wixii aanu dhalay ah baan caawimay. Sidaas ayaanu noloshaas ugu adkaysanay ilaa aanu ka nimaadno. Qaarkayana weli ay ku nool yihiin. ay leeyihiin maalin unbaa nabadi dhacaysa. Almost 16 years I'm living in this neighborhood.
I believe this is now or has been one of the biggest Indian centers in the United States for the longest time. We had societies, we had a culture, we had a tradition. We were the caretakers. My philosophy is we were put here to take care of one another and to take care of Mother Earth. My name is Mike Forsha. I'm a member of the Bad River Band of Lake Superior Chippewa Indians, and I own the Wolf's Den Coffee Shop here located in the Minneapolis American Indian Center. When they had the relocation program in the late 50s and 60s, we were relocated from our reservation here to Minneapolis. We needed someplace to go, and it was like, well, we'll go to the Franklin Avenue area because it's the slums, and that's what we could afford at the time, was the cheapest rent. At one point, Minneapolis had more natives per square mile than anywhere else in the United States. But what do you do with the homeless then? They walk in those doors and we welcome them. For the last 2 years, I've been feeding them here at the Indian Center with no funding whatsoever. I do it out of my own pocket. And we started out with about 20, and sometimes, like last week, we had 85. Sometimes we have over 100 people come in. And we have to show them dignity and respect. I'm hoping to pass that on to more and more people, that we have to start taking care of one another. We have some people working on a blueprint for Franklin Avenue to make it more Native-owned businesses. Because of education, because of the American Indian movement, we now have a Native American community clinic. We have an OIC down the street. We have a gallery just going to be opening up here in the fall, just down the street from us. So many new things that are coming up to help our people, but I'm afraid too many of them are social service agencies. We need Native American-owned cost cutters, Native American-owned Jiffy Lube, Native American-owned grocery store. That's what we need to really bring ourselves up, is an actual income, an actual economy, as opposed to a welfare economy and social services, which are needed very desperately at this time, but hopefully that will change and we'll have more natives in business to actually make South Minneapolis livable, you know, and a safe place to live. We have a big problem with understanding the new immigrants that come in. We had several of our elders being attacked by some Somali youth. And so we scheduled these Somali friendship meetings, and we invited anybody who wanted to come. And we had about maybe 15 Somalis show up. We're very grateful. And they all pointed out, and correctly so, that the people who committed these crimes were criminals, Somalis second. And we have that same problem in our community. You know, we have our young men who are out doing criminal activities, and we don't say that's, you know, an Indian, you know, that's a criminal. Regardless of what their skin color or their racial or ethnic background, they're a criminal. I just think that communication and learning, educating each other about why we do what we do, why they do what they do. We can share so many different things that there's common ground there, and then you can go off and do your own thing, which everybody does, but still come together in a common area and celebrate. And we can even celebrate our differences. We have to start taking care of one another. That's our job, that's our only job, and the rest of it is just fluff.
We used to be like different groups, Somalian, natives, Latinos, and we never used to get along. We gave each other this kind of an attitude, like who's better and who's like, you know, better looking or whatever. And then finally when we had this program, we get to know each other and our names and everything. So we became friends.
Thanks for watching our movie.